Azure Data Factory. So in the Azure Data Factory, we need to make sure that we need to click on this to linked service is selected to test connection, and rest all the options are by default, and click on create. In the linked service, let's select the secret name and drop down, and you will be able to find dev connection string. This is what we created using the commands, and click on create. So that's successfully saved in the Git repository. Now let's quickly jump into the Azure portal. Let me get rid of this. I'm going to minimize the Cloud Shell. Let's go to the home page, go to resource groups, and select the resource group RG-Dev1, and select the storage account. So you can find this. I have few things in this resource group: storage account, the key vault, the Azure Databricks service, and data factory. Select the key vault, the storage account, search for the blob container, and select the blob container, and we're going to click on upload, and I'm going to find a file which I have in my desktop. Let's go to the desktop, and I'm going to upload the CICD demo CSV, and click on upload, and click on upload. Now let's go back to the Azure Data Factory. Under the set properties window, that's where we were working before we jumped into the uploading file in the blob storage. So you can see there is a file path section, and there you can find a browse option. This folder, click on this browse option and select the storage account, and within that you can find the file which we just now uploaded, and click on that file and click on OK. So next we are going to configure the sync for the copy data activity. So in the copy data activity, next to the source you can find sync. So click on sync. We're going to select new data sync, and we're going to choose the Azure data storage here, Azure blob storage. Select the blob storage, click on continue. On the select format, we're going to select the delimited text, click on continue. In the name field, we're going to name it as sync data. Linked service, create a new one, and we are going to name it as prod blob storage. This is a linked service to the dev blob storage. We're going to select the authentication type as Azure Key Vault. In the Azure Key Vault linked device, we have one for the dev. Let's create a new one. I'm going to name this as Key Vault service for the prod. Select the Azure subscription, Key Vault as the prod one, prod Key Vault. Authentication method as system assigned managed identity, and click on create. So now let's go back to the Azure tab. Let's go home and go to the resource group. Let's select the resource group for the prod, and within that you can find the key vault for the prod. So select the prod keys. On the left hand side you can find the access policies, and at the top of the access policies click on create. Under the configure from the template, select the template. We're going to select key, secret, and certificate management, and click on next. In the principal name, let's search for the Azure Data Factory we created, and click on next. And in the application we are not doing any changes. Click on create under review and create. Now let's go back to the Azure Data Factory. So you can see that on the secret name it is loading failed. Let's click on refresh here. Let's see if it works. Now if you select, you can see that you can find the prod connection string here. So select the prod connection string and click on create. Again, on the file path, click on the browse button. You can find the root folder, select that, and that's where we are gonna drop in the prod information. So click on OK, OK again, and that's gonna save this particular template. So the copy pipeline is ready. Now let's go and create a pull request from the feature branch to the main branch. So for that, we are going to go to the Azure DevOps portal. You can go to dev.azure.com. So we are already there. So go to azuredev.com and I'm going to select the CICD demo project we've been working on. On the left hand side, you can find repos. Click on repos. Under that, select branches and select the feature issue 1, 2, 3, 4 branch we just now created. So this is what we created before. So here we are going to create a pull request, give a title. We are going to call it as Azure Data Factory Pipeline Changes. In the reviewers list, give the user account. So I'm going to provide the user account and click on create. Now let's go and review and approve and merge the pull request into the main branch. So to pull request, it must be reviewed and approved before merging the pull request into the main branch. So to do that, go under the repos and select pull request. Select the Azure Data Factory pipeline changes. So this is where you can actually review the changes in the commit. So you can go to the commits and you can review the changes. Once you're satisfied with the changes, you can click on approve. So there are other options as well: approve with suggestions, wait for all the other, or reject. So we are going to do approve. Once you approve, you have to click on complete to make this merge. So within the complete pull request, we have different types of merges: merge not fast forward, squash commit, and things like that. So we're going to retain to merge not fast forward, retain these two options, complete associated work items after merging, and delete these and click on complete merge. Now that is done, next we are going to do is publish the main branch into the Azure Data Factory. So now let's go back to the Azure Data Factory. So in the Azure Data Factory, select the main branch. And now we are going to learn how to set up the CD for the Azure Data Factory by using the Azure DevOps. In this exercise, we are going to configure the continuous deployment for the pipeline. So to publish the main branch into Azure Data Factory, all you have to do is go back to the main branch and you can click on publish. So that's how you would publish the changes to the Azure Data Factory and click on OK. So that is now publishing or deploying changes or deployed for resources for us. So you can see that successfully published from the collaboration branch. It is generating the right AMP templates and it's completed. In the next exercise, we are going to set up the CD for Azure Data Factory by using Azure DevOps. We are going to learn how to configure continuous deployment for the pipeline. For that, first we are going to go into the DevOps environment and let's go to the main page, DevOps, select the project we are working on, CICD demo. And this time we are going to select the pipelines. Under pipeline, select library, click on add new variable group, give a variable group name. I'm going to call it dev, and we're going to add a couple of variables. First, a key vault name and give the value for the key vault name. The next one is the storage account name and provide the storage account name, and then we are going to save that. So we have created a new variable name under library and we have saved two variables for the storage account and the key vault. Now let's go back to the library again. Now we are going to create a new library for prod. So one we created just now is for dev. Now we are going to create one for prod. So give a name. We're going to do the exercise again. Give the key vault name. The variable this time I'm going to give is the prod key value. The next one is the storage account name, but this time it is the storage account for the prod, not for the dev. And once you do that, click on save, go back to library. We can see both the libraries are created for both dev and prod. Next, learn how to create a stage to build an Azure Data Factory ARM template. So on the left-hand navigation pane under pipelines, we're going to click on pipelines.